Hello, and welcome back to another video that no one asked for. My name is Em, and I'm a self-proclaimed Genshin veteran. I've been playing Genshin since Christmas Day of 2020, so I started the game just a few months after release, and have since decided that I love this game and that I'm gonna make this game my entire personality. And over the past 4 years, I've managed to collect a lot of things that I thought were interesting enough to share, so without further ado, let's go check them out. Okay, but before we go deeper into this video, just a small disclaimer. I'm not free to play, so if there are any new Genshin players planning to not spend money on this game who happen to be watching this video, I hope you don't beat yourself up from comparing your account to mine. I honestly sort of wish I was free to play though, because oh man, the things I could have done with all the money I threw at this game.
Lose! Need some change?
No.
Why?
Because I'm all out of money!
But also, I just get a lot of joy from staring at my characters, so I'm personally kind of justifying it as a cheaper alternative to therapy. Don't do what I'm doing though, kids. I'm definitely setting a bad example here. Anyways, these are my general stats that you can find on my profile. I'm most proud of having 70 out of 73 characters at maximum friendship level right now, but my achievement total definitely could use some work. Okay, but why do I low-key sound like a college YouTuber sharing their high school stats? This is definitely kind of weird, but yeah, if people started using their Genshin stats to get into college or get jobs, I think I'd be pretty balling in acceptances. The characters I showcase on my profile are the characters that I think have at least a B+ build. I'm arguably a bit harsh on my builds, but I somehow cannot get myself around to beating my perfectionist tendencies. I tried to create sort of a rainbow with all of my favorite characters' name cards, and despite the lack of purples, I still think it looks pretty cool. Something you might find interesting about my account is that I only have one character at level 90. Now why, you may ask, is this the case? And the answer is honestly pretty simple. It's because I'm stingy. Like, I look at my characters who are doing really solid damage at level 81 or 85 or whatever, and I go, do you really need me to feed you 200 more EXP mats and like 700k more Mora to do marginally better? Yeah, I think not. Another thing about my account that you might find interesting or maybe disgusting is that I have no crown characters. I honestly really love hoarding all my crowns, and it's all because I'm indecisive and I also have commitment issues apparently.
I'm not afraid of commitment. I commit to things all the time. It's the following through on that commitment that I take issue with.
Like, doesn't crowning a character sound like such a commitment when you don't know when they're gonna be power crept out, or you fall out of love with the character and decide you don't want to play them anymore? So yeah, my crowns just sit here in my inventory collecting dust, and probably will for the foreseeable future. Until I get therapy, that's for sure. Okay, these are the 73 characters I mentioned previously. I do have a lot of 5 stars. I prioritize my 5-star pulls based on whether or not I like the character's personality, their design, their lore, and their playstyle. And if they don't check off more than 2 of these boxes, I pass on their banner. Or at least I try to. What usually ends up happening is that I get the jitters for the gacha gambling adrenaline rush, and I just... Case in point is my Nilou, Yelan, and Ayaka that I just never use, unfortunately. I literally didn't even like any of these characters, and so far Yelan is the only one out of these 3 that I don't regularly regret pulling for, despite absolutely hating her for her haircut. Okay, I don't hate her hair. It's just that it also gives me war flashbacks to whenever I massacred my hair by chopping off my own bangs with craft scissors in college. It was a very poor coping mechanism. I'm not gonna go in depth into all of my characters and their builds in this video because I'm sure that'll bore the 2 people that I've managed to lure into watching my video. But if you do want me to go more in depth into more character stats and builds, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll make that into a separate video. But for now, I think I'm just gonna share builds of characters that I'm either proud of or their builds are interesting. And I'm thinking that the rest of my semi-built character stats will just be a montage or something at the end. Okay, first up, we have Mr. Chief Alchemist here, Mr. Albedo. I do have him on Cinnabar Spindle here, and I'm so glad I wasn't in one of my Genshin slump eras during that event. It's so beautiful, and also literally such an amazing weapon on him. Like, how did Genshin decide that this was going to be a limited event weapon and not a 5-star weapon? His artifacts are actually a build in progress. I used to run him on 4-piece husk, and that was pretty good, honestly. But I have since decided that I hate myself and that I'm going to spend another year of my life farming a new artifact set on him. So I've been slowly working towards a better 4-piece golden troop because his crit rate right now is pretty miserable. Next we have Little Miss Farina, who I'm running on Festering Desire. Now, between this and Cinnabar Spindle, it might look like I have every event weapon that was ever released, but I promise that's not the case. Only because I've had my ups and downs with Genshin. This one in particular, though, is one I'm so glad I didn't miss. I actually almost didn't get this weapon because I was still a newbie when this event started, and it was just so hard to beat the event at the time, but my best friend held my hand through the entire event, so now I only have her to thank for this brilliant weapon. I'm still working on a better crit ratio on my Farina, but even at this point, I'm pretty sure my Farina still sits at top 5% right now. Now, my Ayato is my true crown jewel of my account. He's a top 1% build, and he sits at almost a perfect 1-to-2 crit ratio. Now, if I were to dream big, I really want to get him pristine and perfect pieces someday. Like, that defense percent substat is still kind of bothering me, and that flat attack as well, and so on. If I'm ever in a Genshin lull, maybe I'll throw myself into that domain for another year or so, but for now, I'm pretty satisfied with what I have. I also really want to get him at C6 someday, but I also know that Ayato's constellations don't get as much mileage as other character constellations, so yeah, we'll leave that big decision for future me. Now on to Fischl. Fischl was actually my first main, and I used to run her on a hybrid machine gun Fischl build, which was like the Mitternacht's Waltz combined with like electro damage bonus and physical damage bonus artifact stuff. I love playing machine gun Fischl, but Hoyo one day decided to say screw you to physical damage, and I've been needing an electro character for my Dendro team, so she has since unfortunately been converted to the dark side, and now I run her on a pure elemental skill focused build, but maybe I'll start playing this again? We'll see. Okay, we're gonna skip through a few characters and onto my Fremine. I freaking love Fremine as a character. His freckles are so damn adorable, and I love that he kind of has daddy issues, and I just want to give him a hug all the time. He's also currently my open world main. But yeah, like I mentioned before, I feel like Genshin hates physical damage, and a physical damage build on a Claymore character kinda seemed boring to me. So instead, I run him on a whack-ass freeze team that utilizes cryo skill damage. Basically, what I'm trying to do is run enough energy recharge on him so that I can spam his burst off cooldown, which would in turn allow me to spam his skill. So I run him on this cute Melazine Claymore, both because it's so baby girl on him, and also because the extra energy from this weapon is kinda goated for what I'm trying to go for. As for artifacts, I'm running him on 2-piece Blizzard and 2-piece Golden Troop, but the pieces so far are far from perfect. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have for interesting character builds. I'm trying to build my roster up with characters all with amazing builds, but I still consider myself a pretty casual player and have yet to spend primo gems on replenishing resin, so I'm not there just yet, but if that day does come, I hope you stick around to see my account tour next time. Oh right, the detailed stats I promised for my semi-build characters. Let's just quickly go through those. onto my artifacts. Like everything else in my account, I have a hoarding problem. I'm always finding myself hitting the load limit on artifacts, and they're literally all mostly 5 stars too. It's genuinely because I struggle with deciding what to throw out and what to keep. Like, this is a real-time reenactment of how my artifact strongboxing process usually goes. Oh my, a defense percent deepwood sands. I don't need it, so let's throw it out. Oh wait, but what if in the future they release a dendro character that scales on defense? Then what if I regret this moment in the future? Okay, let's keep it for now. What about this next one? Ooh, I don't like the substats on it. Let's throw it out. But EM is such an important main stat on so many of the dendro characters. Like, what if desperate times calls for me to use the sand in the future? Let's keep this one too. Oh, then what about... yeah. So I apparently have attachment issues as well. The biggest problem is that I usually don't even end up using these pieces that I think are mid, because at this point I'm striving for quote-unquote perfect builds, so hoarding artifacts like this is honestly pretty stupid. Maybe in the future I'll do an artifact spring clean, or maybe I'll live like this forever until Hoyo decides to increase the cap every year or two. We'll never know. Okay, now onto my weapons. I actually got close to half of my weapons off the standard banner, including all 4 of my Amos bows. I honestly just needed 1 for my Ganyu, but thanks, I guess. Also, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot here and jinxing my luck, but I've had a lot of luck on the weapon banner, hence the abundance of limited 5-star weapons. One not so niche tip I have that I've been living by is that I never ever roll on a weapon banner unless I like both of the rate up 5-star weapons on the banner. Like, I got my Raiden weapon when she was rerunning with Ayato, and my Arlecchino weapon when she first appeared with Linny. In both cases, I liked both of the weapons, and so I really didn't mind losing to either one. The only one I got out of pure coincidence was Nahida's weapon. I actually wasn't planning on pulling it all because I was pretty broke on Primos back then, but my sister just stole my iPad and did a spontaneous temple out of nowhere, which I got kind of mad at her for, but then she got it within that first 10 pull, so I stopped being too mad. I've also managed to collect my fair share of event weapons and just a lot of random 4-star weapons as well. Wait, can we please talk about how it is that some 4-star weapons look way cooler than 5-star weapons? Like Child on Rust? It's literally so perfect. If you couldn't tell already, one of my biggest red flags is that I kind of just run weapons on characters based on how good it looks on them. Like, I'm pretty sure my Femine would be doing way more damage on a Wolf's Gravestone than my Melazine weapon, but here we are. Oh yeah, speaking of weapons, let me show you all the billets I've collected over the years. It's quite a lot. Just like my crowns, this mass hoarding phenomenon is also because of commitment issues. I don't know if I'll like the weapons I craft in a few months or so I just let the billets rot in my inventory instead. At this point, I just collect shit just for the sake of collecting shit, which also brings me to my food inventory. I love hoarding in-game food, and my goal right now is to collect 100 each of the specialty dishes for absolutely no reason. My cousin said it's probably because of something eating disorder, something trauma response, and okay, I hate to admit it, but she might be onto something. But we're gonna ignore that. So yeah, anyways, I've so far met my goal on quite a few character specialty dishes. The rest are still works in progress as I slowly collect enough cooking ingredients. One mistake I made on my account was running hella weekly boss domains. I was so naive when I first started the game, and I thought you could trade one of the weekly boss drops for another boss's drops. So I was like, wow, why aren't more people doing this? Turns out it's because other people have more than one brain cell. So now I'm just drowning in boss drops that I have absolutely no use for, so if Hoyo wants to help me out with a problem that I've created for myself, that'd be pretty nice. What else? Oh, have any of you also just forgotten that these exist? Like, I've genuinely forgotten that these existed, and now I'm just swimming in boxes and boxes of these in my inventory. And I know it'll be super satisfying to open them all, but I'm also kind of lazy to clear my artifact inventory in the first place and go through and open it all. But if you want to watch me suffer for the sake of a satisfactory video, leave me a comment down below and I'll do it just for you, darling. This part is kind of boring honestly, but I'll also share my miscellaneous menu items. A mini disclaimer though, I spend most of my Genshin time either farming artifact domains or decorating my teapot, so don't judge me too hard on the atrocious amount of quests I have left to complete, but okay, yeah, no, it was pretty bad. You can totally judge me now. I have so many story quests and hangout events that I didn't even bother playing because it honestly doesn't interest me that much. I think I just seriously got story quest burnout after the shit show that was Ayato's story quest, so yeah. Haven't touched it since, unless I accidentally trigger it by walking across some niche area of the map, or if I need to complete it for a limited event, but other than that, never been touched. And my achievements. Like I mentioned before, I don't have many completed. I'd ideally look up how to get hidden achievements for those sweet 5 primos, but I also like the idea of organically coming across achievements like, oop, Wow, that triggered an achievement. Awesome. But yeah, maybe someday we'll reach 1,000 achievements. And I think that's pretty much it for my Genshin account tour. I would have included a tour of my Genshin teapot realms, but my teapot realms are all high-key kind of dripped out, so I'll create a separate video for each realm in the near future. Well then, thank you so much for watching until the end. Till next time, bye!